Okay, I just want to address the little issue that people have with this whole thing when they get the answer 9 and they get the answer 1. Okay? Now, anybody who do hard maths would tell you that the answer is 1. Right? Now, I know y'all gonna scream and bitch about this and bitch about that, but here's the real, right? Now, based on what it is they're saying, let's use the same exact thing they have, which is, this is how they wrote it. Remember, this is how they wrote it. 6 divided by 2. So now I'm going to make sure I get the exact thing. Don't want to make any mistakes here. There we go. Right. 6 divided by 2 like that. Then there's the brackets. Then there's 2 plus 1. That equal. Whoever did this, they did this basically to mess with your head. It's that simple. Why? When you write anything like this, right, it says that you pretty much that this item is connected. It doesn't matter. You could have whatever you want here. This makes this a solid number here, whole number, and this makes this an entire entity. Yet, were I to do something like this, now I'm going to change this up just a little bit so it looks a little easier for someone to view. If you got something like this in exam, for instance, let's change that to X, let's change that to Y, right? Well, aside from bringing this down, what you would have done is just multiply this out, 2 6 by that, and you'll get 2x over 6 plus 2y over 6, and yada 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 yada. Break it down, whatnot. Fine, cool. So if you look at it like that, other people have seen it from this perspective. So of course, it would make them bitch and moan about it as well. Because they'd be like, okay, this is just 6x over 2 plus 6y over 2. Right? Or in this case, yeah, no, suck using this. Alright, let's put it more exactly where y'all want to see it. So, you get 12 divided by 2. No, wait, sorry, my bad. 2 plus 1, 3, alright, based on what it said. 6 divided by 2, 3. Alright, that's what it's saying, right? Cool? Alright? But this is not accurate, believe it or not. And it's only not accurate because of how it was actually written. If you got something like this, written exactly like this, this is represented by one entity. Now, I know you're thinking, isn't that the same as that? And if you said this was the same as that, you'd only be half right. Because if this was by itself, of course, absolutely, you'd be completely right. Now, when something is written like this, right, we look at this and say, okay, we subconsciously or unbeknownstly have that bracket there to look at this as one entity, right? Because the way it's written, it's clearly shown to be like one item. It's understood like that. The way that this was written, however, like this, there are problems there, because now you have this, and from the time you do this and put that with brackets, you've created this as a whole item, and that's where the problem lies. And if you work it this way, because based on how this is written as is, this is the result. It has to be that. So you work out that. And you get your answer as 1. Ignore the fact that I'm horribly not putting any equal signs or whatever. I'm just trying to give you the gist of it. Right? The bottom line is, depending on how this is written, you would get the various answers. Like I said, if you look on a paper and you got it written like this, it's never going on another sheet before somebody trip off on that. I'm killing my notepad. Anyway, who cares? Right. So if this was literally 1, by the way, note with this that the brackets clearly like that, so it showing that this whole item is actually being multiplied by that. If it was written like this, or you could even go as far as doing that, no problem, but you need that. If you have this here, then all those people who say 9, no problem, no problem. But I repeat, you cannot go that route if you have this. That is a big difference. As oddly as it sounds, that's a big difference. And this is the problem with it. So yes, this, somebody may mean it to be that. But because of the way it's written, it can also be interpreted as this. And this is the difference that you're going to get. This one will give you 1. This one will give you 9. Correct? So understand what I'm saying. Unless they literally lay it out the correct way and state that, you're not going to get the right answer. Personally, I'd quicker go and say the answer is 1 based on what I know, because from how it is written, right, it does this. And from the time you do anything with this here like that, you can't separate the number itself from that. You can't. And unless I could confirm that this is one item, which could not be confirmed based on the fact that it was not written in this format, and no one of you all gonna be trying to say, hey girl, you know, this here is pretty much the same as this. You're wrong. Because it's just like when somebody has 3/4 by x plus 1, you're gonna multiply the whole 3/4 by the x, and then the whole 3/4 by the 1, and you'll have your 2 items, right? But if I have this 3 divided, which is the same thing as that, by the way, by 4, and I do that, that's a whole different ball game. It means 3 divided by this entire thing here. And to be quite honest, y'all could tell me this is wrong, this is what. I did add maths, did my GC level. I'm not no super calculus guy or whatever, but I've done this for various different sums I worked out, and I know I got certain things right with it, so I don't even beating up about the bush about this. This to me is normal, right? The only problem here is how they write it. That's it. If they wrote it anywhere in these kind of formats, there would be no problem. Which is why whoever did it, they did it on purpose, because they knew they would have messed with people's head. Because this is so simple for people, they look at it and they're like, no way I could have this wrong. And for most people, they really don't have it wrong. It's just their perception of it based on what they learn seems to be different. And as the truth, if any of y'all actually got something like this, you look at this as one entire item and you'd multiply it here, which is what all the 9 people do. But again, as I said, the issue is it's laid out like this, which based on the parenthesis, which in your little PEDMAS rule, as you say, right, tells you to focus on the parenthesis, and that doesn't just mean calculating what's on the inside here alone. It means dealing with the parenthesis first. This would be connected to it based on how it is done. In other words, if they did it properly, you wouldn't be going through this shit. But they didn't, so you are. So, I don't know. Quite frankly, this is like the first video actually posting up. It might be crap, it might be good, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just putting my 2 cents, what I learn and what I understand. And this is why you're supposed to put brackets, by the way. This is why brackets is so important. There's no way you could actually look at this and have any kind of wonder if anything is off. You know clearly, hey, this is one item here and this is one item here. Alright? Anybody, opinions, rebuttals, whatever you call it, you do it. Doesn't really matter to me at this stage. Anyway.